Marilyn Manson, Heaven Upside Down. 10 tracks for 47 minutes. The 10th studio album from the US outfit, released October 2017 via Lorna, Vista and Carolyn. Produced by Tyler Bates. 2 lead-up tracks were released. We Know Where You Fucking Live and Kill For Me. Taking the album to number 8 in the US, number 7 in the UK, and number 4 here in Australia. Go for it.
Honestly, I've never been a huge Marilyn Manson fan. I always thought Alice Cooper does it a lot better, but Manson has always been interesting. When he first broke through, I'd read just about every interview I could find on him. He always has an interesting take on things, and he knows how to play the media.
Very smart, man.
Yeah. Back then, Marilyn Manson was synonymous with controversy. He was new, he was young, and he was dangerous. And he could back it up, the controversy, with some really cool songs. Beautiful People, Disposable Teens, This Is the New Shit, being some of the songs of his that I do like. Now at 48 years old, almost 30 years into his career, he's released his 10th album. It must be hard because people have the expectation of what they expect from him, and he needs to deliver what he's known for, but he can't just rest on what he's already done. Yeah. Controversy plays very little these days because nothing tends to shock people anymore.
Yeah.
So what Heaven Upside Down consists of is Manson taking what he's used to, what he's used to bring into what he is now.
Julia.
Yeah. It's late and I'm tired. It's the right album for him to release at this point in his life. It's evil and it challenges the world, but it's more focused aggression rather than what we got from him 20 years ago.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what it is exactly, but under the modern production and distorted tones, I got a bit of a classic rock vibe to it.
Yeah. I got that too. That'll be interesting.
He's gone back to his childhood, some of the music he listened to growing up.
But yeah, I think I've got some references in here. That'll be curious to see if you get the same references as me. But yeah.
It was interesting that he mentions 10 a couple of times throughout the album in the song Satan. It's actually cool considering it's also album number 10.
Yeah.
And in Revelations number 12, he's counting the 10. So I don't know if there's something in his mind that he's trying to get at.
He's usually making a point. He likes to make albums that make a story or complete a circle kind of thing.
There's something in there.
Yeah.
And he says Revelations come in 12, so maybe is he just planning 2 more albums? Is that what he's trying to
Could be anything. You don't know because he's so much
guy.
further ahead than most people think he is.
Yeah.
He's going to survive his stage pops first though.
They're trying to kill him. There's a lot of diversity to this album, which was quite a surprise. The song Kill For Me has a bit of a happy, funky groove to it, which is funny considering the lyrics.
Yeah.
I can actually picture this working well in the Rob Zombie movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Saturnalia takes a different turn of pace. There's a bit of a laid-back gothic horror feel. A bit of an 80s vibe to that one as well. Heaven Upside Down, it's a good album. I'm not sure how it would stack up against his classic material though. Probably won't win him any new fans, but for those who have been with him for many years, they're bound to love it. Overall, I go 8 out of 10. My standouts were Revelation number 12, We Know Where You Fucking Live, Say 10, Kill For Me, and Saturnalia.
Nice. Now, I was a huge fan of Marilyn Manson back in the day. Antichrist Superstar was on repeat rotation quite for, I don't know how long, fucking years, I reckon. And that made me go back to his early albums like Portrait and all that sort of stuff, and then followed him through for a while. And then I dropped off in recent years. It's worth noting that other reviewers out there are likening this to a cross between Antichrist Superstar and Mechanical Animals. I'm inclined to agree, but that said, I get something of an older classic rock influence, or dare I say almost a touch of Bowie in this. Just
that was a big influence
things.
on Antichrist Superstar, wasn't he?
Bowie's a big influence on Manson in general, I think, but there's just something in the way he delivers the songs that there's just nothing obvious, but there's just little hints of just little moments.
Underlaying, it's playing there somewhere.
I was surprised to find an 8-minute song in the middle of this album. He hasn't done one of those for a while, from me paying attention anyway. Some great groove and use of rhythms on this, and some great hooks too, believe it or not. Manson's wordplay, it's always been good and it's still on point. He nails it on this release. His lyrics are fantastic and really well layered with meaning, all conveyed in just the right way to make you stop and think for a minute, which is what you were saying about the references to 10. You're just going to stop and go, hang on, he's making a point. Yeah. But you're not quite sure what the point is.
Exactly.
And that's what he's always done. It's quite a diverse listen. It all flows well and ties together nicely. Manson's always been into the idea of breaking albums into sections, and on this one he's done that well and made it feel like a movie soundtrack, which is what you're talking about with the Rob Zombie type thing. Plenty of balls on this one though. For all the above points I've made, while this isn't as dark or heavy as Antichrist overall, there's still more than enough of both of those elements to satisfy the core fan base. The production's really well done as well. Everything sits exactly where it needs to for this style and has just the right amounts of dirt and polish applied perfectly. Also, Manson still sounds great, and the production really brings that out. So it showcases how good he still sounds. Like you referenced how old he is now, I forget.
48, I think.
Yeah, so he's approaching 50.
Yeah.
And he still sounds like
still
he's got the goods, this one even crackles at times. It's got something of an electric sound or feel to the production of it. Think touches of Rammstein or Killing Joke when it comes to the way that those albums can sound. Not so much the musical style, but the actual sound of the albums. There's lots of little instrumentation bits in this. Each song truly has its own flavour. And I know I referenced more classic sounds earlier, but there's a hell of a lot more modern sounds in here as well. So it's a good blend of old and new. Great little melting pot. This album needs more than one spin, but if you do, it will reward you as it gets better each time you listen to it. Give it the time it deserves, this release. If you're anything like me and have strayed away over the last few years, this might be a great time to reconnect, so to speak. This one is worth it. Not as strong as his classics works, like you were thinking there, but it's a very strong return to form in my opinion. I gave it an 8 out of 10. Say 10, Saturnalia, Blood, Honey, and Heaven Upside Down, my standouts. Check it out for yourselves. Give us your thoughts.